Hello there, and welcome to the How to Market Your Horse Business podcast. So glad you're joining me here today. As you've likely guessed by now, my name is Denise Alvarez, your host, and I get the pleasure and honor of hosting you and serving you here each week. Now, before we dive into today's topic, where we are talking about email marketing, and I want you to hang in there because this is for everybody, regardless of the season of your business, okay? Before we dive into that, a very brief introduction in case you and I are new friends, and then we'll jump right in. So as I said, my name is Denise, and through my business, Storm Lily Marketing, and as an equine business coach, I get to help dream-chasing entrepreneurs in the horse world to build and grow a sustainable business without burning out. And whether it is through coaching, whether it is through this podcast, or anytime you see me teaching or providing resources, all that I do is to help you as an equine entrepreneur be out doing more of what you love in the equine industry. So whether you are in the barn, the arena, the round pen, behind the camera lens, at the computer, at your workbench, wherever you are serving the equine industry, I truly want to help you do more of that. And so today we're going to do that by way of talking about a particular marketing method that I encourage nearly every client to engage in, and that is email marketing. Now, when I say nearly every client, if you've been here for a while, you may be thinking, wait, I thought she said that's for everybody. And I do believe that. And I used to say everyone should be list building, but I'm going to put an asterisk next to that for today. Because I do believe that there are some clients and scenarios, and I'm working with one right now, that can build sustainably without email marketing. Okay, let me tell you this though. All right, I'm going to qualify that. Because of this particular client's years of expertise and how she intentionally, not combine my words, how she intentionally utilizes a different marketing method. Okay, so she is still marketing and she is doing it with intention. She has so much demand at this moment, and she just wants to do one-on-one work. Like that is her long-term goal. Okay, she doesn't intend to build out or want to build out a digital platform, and she has a plan for retirement and long-term. Okay, we've talked about it. Email marketing is not the place she needs to be focusing her time and energy right now. And yet, what I will say is because what I just told you, it's her long-term goal that we have in mind. That is what is for everyone. And so I would encourage you listening to first evaluate and look at your long-term goals, your vision of success for your business, and make the decision based on that. Because this email marketing that we're going to talk about and this marketing method of email, it does have a place in 99% of your businesses, all right? I know that many of you that I talk to, you want to create something digital where quote unquote passive income is a reality. And of course, we say passive meaning it does take some work, but it is different. It is scalable in a different way. Or maybe you want to host clinics or in-person events. For all of these things that take more than one-on-one work, you need a warm audience. And to be honest, if you're doing one-on-one work, email marketing can still work for you, okay? That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying think about what success means to you and then build from there. And for many of you, email marketing is going to be a key method of how you make that happen, all right? Now, if you're thinking, Denise, social media is all I need. Why would I need email marketing? If you're new here, you may not have heard me say this, so I will say it quickly. And then for those of you who have heard it, just stick with me. I want to remind you that social media is rented space. It can be a valuable marketing method. Absolutely. I do help my clients create a social media strategy. But I want to remind you that you don't own access to your audience on social media. At a moment's notice, it could disappear. Your access to that audience disappears, and there's nothing you can do about it. On the flip side, when you actively engage in email marketing, you own your email list. That means you own access to your best fit audience that you have developed and built out, which means you can directly sell to them, talk to them, serve them based on your time schedule, based on when you want to send an email. Now, I'm not going to dive into all of the numbers, but there are numbers to back that up as well. And I'll link to some episodes. I'll tell you in a moment about some other episodes that will dive into that if you would like to talk about that more. But right now, I just want to remind you, When you actively engage in email marketing, you own access to your people. Okay. So I do want to give you 2 key stats that will help you to make a data-informed decision versus an emotionally led decision where you're saying, Denise, I don't like how email marketing feels. Instead, let's look at the data. 60% of consumers prefer to be contacted by brands through their email, which is good news for business owners. And 88% of email users are checking their inbox multiple times a day. Yes, they're checking social media multiple times a day, okay? And they're checking their email. All right. So if you're still on the fence, I do have some related podcast episodes that you are welcome to go listen to where we dive deeper. I will link to those in the show notes. So today's episode is 216. So you may go to stormlily.com/216, and that's Storm Lily, Lily, .com/216 for episode 216. And there I will link to 4 steps to build your email list with qualified leads, as well as another episode titled Why Email Marketing Feels Like Spam and 3 Ways to Do It Well Instead, as well as one more, Is Email Marketing Dead? 4 email marketing myths debunked. And those will all be linked in the show notes for you if you would like to dive deeper into that. One other thing I'll have there in the show notes for you is my free beginner's guide to email marketing for horse businesses. So you can grab that in the show notes, or you can just go directly to stormlily.com/email guide. Okay. Now that that's taken care of, stay here with me, but know you can go to the show notes for those additional resources. But let's stick to the numbers that I just told you. Okay. People are in their email inboxes. They're in there regularly. They want to hear from businesses there. Okay. So that means, what do we do? How do we engage in that, right? So if you're here because you're tired of only relying on social media, if you do know that you want to have a new product or service that you're going to launch, or a new digital product or a new event, and you want to stay in touch with your customers, then what do we do? Yes, you're going to get people on your email list. What do you do after that? How do you get them from just an email list, email friend, to an actual customer? Because I know for many of you, for many horse business owners and many websites for equine businesses that I visit, kudos to you. You have the box there that says sign up for my email newsletter. Okay, that's a great step. But what happens after that? Okay, if you don't have a plan for your emails after they get on your newsletter, then you still just have a list that, yes, you own, but what are you doing with that? It's just sitting there. That's where the email welcome sequence comes in. Okay. And so that's what we're going to dive into in today's episode. We're going to talk about what is an email welcome sequence, what is the purpose behind one, what should you put in it, and how can you do it simply yet effectively for your equine business. All right, so first step is, what is an email nurture sequence or an email welcome sequence? Truly, it's as simple as it sounds. It is a series of emails that are sent automatically when someone signs up for your email list. Typically, you drip them over time. So, for example, day 1, they get the email that says, welcome to the newsletter. And if you have an incentive like a lead magnet, then you deliver that. Then you wait a day or 2, and then you send another email to check in. And then maybe you wait a day or 2 and you send another email. That, in its simplest form, is a welcome email sequence. Now, from even other marketers, I have heard the argument against welcome sequences, and their point is valid if you're just sending fluff. So certainly, I have been on the receiving end and seen a welcome email sequence that didn't draw me in. It wasn't engaging, it wasn't enticing, it wasn't personal, right? So it didn't do its job. But there is a way for you to craft an email welcome sequence that adds value, creates connection, and invites the right people to take the next step to work with you. That's what I want to help you create today. So we've talked about what is an email welcome sequence. What about the purpose? As I just reiterated, the purpose of the welcome sequence is to build that trust and connection and to invite the right people to take the next step with you. Again, this is How to Market Your Horse Business podcast. So email marketing has some intention behind it of selling, but we can do that. Okay. Don't get scared of selling. We can do that in a way that feels right to you and still sell and convert. But here's the beauty of the email welcome sequence. It compresses trust building for you. So for example, instead of somebody signing onto your email newsletter and getting a monthly email where it takes 3 or 4 months for them to build a connection and relationship with you because they've only heard from you 3 or 4 times in a month, or say you send twice monthly email newsletters, okay, that still takes some time. With the email welcome sequence, they can get to know you, understand who you're for, what you do, how you can help them in a matter of 5 or 6 days. And that really compresses that trust building and it keeps them warm because you're top of mind because they just signed up for your emails. Now, the other beautiful thing that it will do is help to keep your list clean. Here's what I mean by that. A clean list, yes, has people that are actually receiving your emails. So you don't want things that are bouncing off, and we're not going to dive into the semantics of that. But also a clean email list means that people are engaged and they're qualified. All right. So similar to how many people will chase vanity metrics when it comes to social media and be more concerned about the number of followers versus the quality of followers, that happens with email marketing as well. Someone can be really excited and proud of the number of people on their email list, but if we haven't taken the time to go in and make sure those people are actually engaging and opening your emails, then it's not doing the work you need it to do. It's not going to be as effective. So how does the welcome email sequence do that for you? Well, when they jump on in your email, and we're going to talk about this in a moment about what goes in it, you're going to tell them they can unsubscribe anytime. Do not be afraid of that, because if people choose to unsubscribe, it's actually helping to keep your list clean and keep people who are truly potential buyers in your list. All right. So it's actually a good thing if they choose to unsubscribe in that email sequence. It means they're not your person. Okay. So don't be afraid of sending 3 emails, 4 emails, even over the span of that first week that they're with you, because you're going to keep the qualified buyers with you. All right, so we've talked about what it is and what its purpose. So now you're going, Denise, what do I put in an email welcome sequence? I'm going to walk through it with you and give you even just a very sample framework that you can create, okay? All right, so first of all, in that very first email, you're going to deliver your lead magnet or your incentive, whatever it is that you have said, hey, when you sign up, I'll send you this thing. And if it's not an item and you're saying, Denise, right now I just have a newsletter box and I tell people they're going to hear from me and what they're going to get. Either way, that first email is, hey, I'm glad you're here. Here's what you can expect. And over the next few days, we're going to get to know each other. You're welcome to unsubscribe anytime. That's the gist of your first email. Okay, then you're also going to include, so let me do it this way actually, versus walking you through each email. I'm going to tell you some elements that you can include because there's not a hard and fast way, but I want you to walk away with a simple framework. So I'm going to tell you the elements that you can include, that you want to include in your series, and then I'll give you a sample sequence of how this plays out. So we want to include the delivery of the items. We want to include a heads up what's coming and an FYI. You're welcome to unsubscribe anytime, no hard feelings. There also should be an element in here in your welcome sequence that talks about you. And I know firsthand, I don't love talking about me either. I can ask you questions about you and your business all day long. It's not my favorite to talk about myself. And that may be the case for many of you. But here's the thing. They jumped on your email list because they want to hear from you and they want to get to know you. And so, yes, you've heard me talk about don't make everything about you, make it about your audience. Well, in this case, your audience wants to know who they're talking to. So it doesn't have to be super, super long, but give them some personal bits about your story that builds trust, that lets them know that you see them because you were them, or you see them because of X, Y, Z. Tell a bit about your story, and then, of course, intertwine it with why it uniquely qualifies you for what you do. Okay. The other piece that you want to include is what you do. Specifically, one of the best ways to do that is to tell a client story so they can actually see it take place. So tell a client story and include what it is that you do. Be specific about it. Okay. Don't be vague and unclear or confusing. The other thing that's great to include in a welcome email sequence is your top performing content. Now, for many of you, content looks different. So what do I mean by that? If you're creating YouTube videos, find the ones that are most watched and or most valuable for new people to you. Perhaps you have a podcast. You can include some of your favorite podcast episodes, again, that are going to point to the problems they have right now and are going to help see you as the solution and to provide a solution for that one. Give them a win. Maybe it's a blog post. Maybe you're writing on Substack. Maybe you are doing social media live videos or long form videos on social media. Whatever the case may be, whatever content it is you're creating, send them to that to build that additional trust, create additional value. The other thing you want to include is how to work with you. So we talked about what you do in your work. The part that often gets missed for many business owners when they create the welcome email sequence is this invitation to work with you. So tell them what that clear next step is. Remember, it's your job to guide your customer on a journey. And so in the email welcome sequence, you're going to guide them to that next step to work with you. Perhaps it's to book a discovery call. Perhaps it is to apply. Perhaps it is to register for an event or purchase a course. Whatever the case is, whatever that next step is you want them to take to work with you, be very clear about that and invite them to take that next step. Now, an advanced piece of an email welcome sequence that you could choose to use is to segment your list. So what does that mean? In one of those welcome emails, you would ask a question where they either click on a link to answer or they fill out a poll or a survey, depending on what your email service provider has available. And by doing that, you are qualifying and segmenting your list. So perhaps you want to work with a certain segment of writers, or perhaps you have a resource for a particular segment of writers or horse owners. This is where you get to segment your list so you determine how you're going to sell to that targeted segment. Now remember, this is not a requirement. It is an option for you, and I wanted to make sure you know it's available because for some of you, this will work really, really well. For me, there was a time for the past couple of years, I did this I think it was the second email. I would ask them, tell me where you are in your marketing. And some of you, if you're listening, you may have walked through that in my welcome emails. Tell me where you are, what season of business you're in, and then I will send you a personalized playlist is how I framed it. And so they would say, I'm struggling with social media. So I would send them a personalized playlist for that. So based on their answer in the poll, I would then have the next email that would come to them. I just recently redid that where I removed it. And so this is where I want to give you that permission to keep it simple, okay? I removed it because right now in the business, I've determined coaching is really my one focus. And so if social media is a thing I can help you with, let's book a clarity coaching call and make your social media plan. If you're wanting more help with that comprehensive marketing strategy, here's an invitation to take the reins for one-on-one coaching where we craft your marketing strategy together. If you're looking for the sustainability factor and you want an overall picture of your business and you want to look at the foundation of your vision and mission, but you also need to evaluate systems and you want to do it in community, that is where the Business Barn Collective is at. So versus providing a playlist, I do give them specific podcast episodes in my welcome sequence, but then I send a unique personal journey based on coaching and what they need for coaching, if that makes sense. So permission to keep it simple, but no, you do have some options available to you if you would like to segment down and target your messaging more. All right, I promised you a sample sequence. So here's what this could look like. Email number 1, automatically sent to deliver and set the expectations. So deliver your free resource, deliver a quick welcome to my email newsletter list. Here's what you can expect. Email number 2, your story plus some of the top content. Okay, so tell a little bit about you, what you do, why you do it, and then lean into some of the top content that you have available. Email number 3, tell a bit more about what you do by way of a client story. Let them see a transformation story and what's possible when they work with you. And then email number 4 is that very clear, direct invitation to take the next step. So that is a 4-email simple welcome sequence. You set up one time, and then every time somebody comes on, they are automatically sent those emails to get to know you. Okay, I want to give you, again, a quick reminder as you do these things, all right? And I was reminded of this the other day. We talked about the permission to keep it simple, and I want to make sure that you do that. The other thing I want to make sure you do is keep connection paramount. When you do get someone new on your email list, how can you make a personal connection in addition to this automation? Because here's the thing, automation is a wonderful, helpful tool, and I want to help you utilize it in your equine business. And people still buy from people, and sometimes that comes by way of a personal connection that solidifies what they're getting automatically from you. So what do I mean by that? When you get a new person on your email list, could you find them on social media and connect with them? Yes, if you're business to business, this makes more sense for you. I understand that. If you're business to consumer, if you're directly working with people, you can't necessarily always go find them on social media based on their email name. And that's a little extra layer. I understand that, but I'm putting it out there because for some of you, you can, and I want you to do that. Go find them, connect with them, send them a message, welcome them, and ask if there's anything in particular that they have questions about you can help them with. Don't try to just sell from the get-go. You're just looking to make a connection. The other way you can do that, though, is there are apps out there. I used to use this one called BombBomb. I've used it a couple of different times. And the way it works is you just record a really quick video and then you can send it to them by way of email. And it literally is embedded into the email. And so what do I mean by that? Somebody joins your email list. They're on the automated welcome sequence. Perhaps you know which day you're going to do this on, or you just do it fluidly. And you record a quick video. Hey, I'm so glad you jumped on my email list. It's so great that we're connected. I would love to hear more about you and your horse. And obviously, make it personal from you. This is not meant to be long. My idea would be keep it 2 minutes or less. Make it easy for them to watch. But what it does is help them to see, again, they're buying from and connecting with a real person. Because again, automation is great. I love the tools that give us systems to save our time. All of that matters. And also, in this day and age, especially with the rise of AI, a lot of people are questioning the truth and questioning the reality of what shows up in their inbox and on their feed. And so when you record a video directly from you or you send a voice memo directly from you to them, it reiterates and confirms to them they're talking with and working with a real person. And right now, especially, people crave that. They crave community and connection. And so, yes, take advantage of welcome email sequences and take advantage of being a real life person that talks to real life people and let them see that. All right, guys, I've given you some super, super practical things that you can apply in your business today. So what do you do with this next? Here's what I want you to do. Number one, if you do not have a welcome sequence at all, but you already have your email list provider set up and you have people getting onto your list, I want you to take this simple 4-email welcome sequence I just provided to you and map something out. Get in a Google Doc, say email number 1's this, email number 2, 3, and 4, and then get in there and set it up. It does not have to be a huge long process. It doesn't have to be a huge long email to be effective, okay? And do it in your voice. Give yourself permission to write like you. Now, if you're saying, Denise, I actually do have something set up, but I'm realizing I haven't looked at it in quite a while. It may not be current, which is what my case was a few weeks ago. I had to jump in and I was like, whoa, why am I still talking about this thing when now my focus is over here? And so if you already have an email welcome sequence, let this be your reminder to go in and do an audit. Does it still sound like you right now? Does it still align with where you're headed in your business? Is it still selling the things that you love to do and want to sell more of? Or if you're in the bucket of, Denise, I actually don't have anything set up and I don't have an email service provider, I'm starting from scratch, then I want you to go get my free guide. It is a free beginner's guide to email marketing for horse businesses, and you can grab it at stormlily.com/email guide, or you can jump over to the show notes for this episode, stormlily.com/216, episode 216. All right. So you have 3 buckets. All of you listening fall into one of these 3 buckets. So each of you have an action step to take based on this episode. Because you all know, I love that you are here listening. I love that you are here learning. But if you're not taking action, you're not going to see the fruit. And I want you to see the fruit of your labor and of your time. All right, friends, that is all I have for you today. I'm so grateful you joined me here. I am so honored to help you in this process as you build and grow your equine business. And of course, if this podcast is helping you, I would be so honored and so grateful if you would share it with a friend. Take a screenshot, tag me on social media at Storm Lily Marketing. Let me know how it's helping you because that's my heart. And the thing is, when you do that and you share, then more horse business owners are able to find out about the podcast and they're able to build and grow their business as well. And that is my heart, to serve the equine industry in that way. Again, everything we've talked about will be on the show notes, including a highlight of today's conversation. I have that sample email sequence in the show notes for you, so you're welcome to jump over there and grab that as well. And then, of course, subscribe and stay tuned because I've got some more new friends to introduce you to over the coming weeks. I'm so grateful you're here. I pray big blessings over your business. I'll see you back here soon. Have an amazing day.